we're good to go.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the newest episode of The Rec Room. And just like Jeffrey Epstein, we're not doing it alone. Today, we got Nathan Paul podcast from Deer Blinds and Fishing Lines. How's it going, buddy?
It's going well. You weren't kidding about the reaction on that one.
I told you, you got to experience it firsthand.
I love how Mike's just ready for it anyway.
I don't expect nothing less in this room.
He's old hand at this point. So, we got our first guest on the show, guys. Nathan from Deer Blinds and Fishing Lines. Welcome.
Golf
Thanks for
clap.
having me.
Welcome,
Thanks for having me.
First time, so it's kind of a momentous occasion. Well, Nathan, why don't you tell us basically what your page is about, what your channel's about, and let the people know, all 10 of our viewers.
Sounds good to me. So essentially what it started out was back in 2017. I was just kind of bored, hanging around the house a lot. I had my first child. Couldn't really go out and do as much as I wanted to, so I decided to make the page just for some fun, and it grew from there. It started with 10 followers and has grown to just under 110,000, and it's crazy to see how...
We're at 110 now.
110,000, yeah. It's crazy to see, because I can go into my analytics, and I can see that 7.2 million people have seen my stuff in the last 30 days and stuff like that. It's insane to see. It's crazy to think that it started as I was bored in my living room with nothing to do but watch my kid.
What made you get started?
Honestly, just something to occupy some time. If I wasn't working, I was at home with the kid because my wife was working, and
kind of like how we did this.
Yeah, something to fill some time, and it was
Elements of midlife crisis panicked in there, you know.
And it's grown from there. And then I decided, I might as well try and make a run at it. I started the YouTube channel. I haven't had as much time to continue with it as I would like, but it's growing relatively quick as well. It's at about 155.
So you're on your platforms. You're on Facebook. You're on YouTube
And Instagram.
You're on
All
Instagram
under
as well?
All under the same title.
and
yep.
that's all under Deer Blinds and Fishing Lines.
Yep.
Nice. So obviously, I mean, it's kind of an obvious question, but why Deer Blinds and Fishing Lines? Obviously, you're a big hunting and fishing guy.
I'm big into hunting and fishing, but the biggest thing is I wanted something that would be easy for people to remember. Because at the end of the day, somebody can see my stuff once, and cool, great.
Yeah.
But if it's something that grabs your attention, it's kind of catchy, whatever you may look at it as, it really helps get that retention, like people coming back and checking stuff out.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I'll check the comments once in a while, and I'll see the same names very regularly.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And being from Saskatchewan, like where it's pretty much the hunting and fishing capital of Canada.
Oh yeah, we have
Like-
some of the best hunting in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, to that note, what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump right into First Blood. And like I told you before we started the show, First Blood is kind of an argument. We like to get everybody's blood boiling here. It's the question is posed out to everybody: hunting or fishing? If you had to give one up, which one's gonna go? Which one's gonna stay, and why?
If I had to pick, I would pick fishing.
Fishing.
Absolutely.
Look at that. Man after my own heart.
Yeah, I absolutely I mean, give up fishing. Just so you know.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah.
Who invited this guy?
Friends off.
If I had to pick one to give up, it would be fishing.
Okay.
I absolutely love my time when I spend. For example, I spend 3 weeks a year on average up north hunting moose and elk and bear.
Where's your favorite place to go?
Usually up in Zone 48, which is
No, GPS coordinates.
Oh yeah, that will not be happening. In case anybody's
Just give
wondering.
it. Yeah, come on. You're a guest on our show. You're being rude.
So basically, what you do if you want to find a big animal in the northern zone of Saskatchewan, look for trees and walk in as long as it's not private land.
I've been to Mike's house before. We all know that.
So have you ever run into issues with landowners and stuff like that? Or?
No, never. When it comes down to it, I'm usually really precautious. I don't need someone getting upset with me, especially with a giant logo on my back window and everything else. And over and above that, any kind of infraction comes with a 1-year hunting suspension, and I don't think I'd be able to retain my sanity if I couldn't.
Oh God, no, that would be hard to do. But what is it about hunting that gives you like I'm a big fishing guy, obviously. But what is it about hunting? What defines it over fishing for you?
Well, I'm a big guy, so I'm going to start with food.
Okay, well
I get a whole
reasonable.
lot more off an elk than I could an entire year worth of fishing.
And that shit's delicious.
Yes,
man.
it is.
Yeah.
And over and above that, it's just the time that I spend in the forest. I enjoy that, listening to everything that's going on considerably more than fishing. Like, I don't spend a lot of time boat fishing. I'm usually shore, so I mean, it's fun, but it's just...
Oh yeah, you got to have a boat to get to the real
to
good
really
stuff.
have fun, yeah.
What's your favorite game to eat?
Elk.
Elk is delicious.
Elk is absolutely
Elk is
fantastic. Followed
super good
closely
for you,
by
too.
bear.
Really, you've had bear?
There's some here for you guys to try
Oh,
later.
is that
Oh,
bear?
wow.
Well, damn. No, I'm gonna put that
On
one
our
off
first
later.
break, we're gonna have to put them in the pot there.
We're gonna have to make some ribs. Never mind. Okay, so
No.
Nathan is a
Carry
hunting
on.
guy. Nathan is a hunting guy. Mike, what are you feeling? Hunting or
Still
fishing?
Hunting still.
You're still hunting. Well, why? What's so much better than fishing?
It's like it is, like he said, the time in the bush, the time putting, anybody can float around in a boat and catch fish, but there's actual work involved in hunting. Like, I'm not saying fishing is easy, like, obviously it isn't, but for me, I'd rather spend my time up north or even in the down south where I hunt a lot and just putting miles on your boots, walking and looking for that trophy, right? Like,
Yeah.
For me, that's just
What's the
hunting.
favorite game for you?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to say archery, mule deer,
Archery and mule deer. Okay, and why? Just the taste?
because the challenge.
Okay. Yeah, you're a big archery
And
hunter.
you can hunt with a T-shirt. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like that, right? Like,
Fair enough.
It's super challenging because, in all honesty, I've been archery hunting for 6 years. I haven't shot anything yet with a bow.
Really?
It's
I'm
that,
on year 2
Other
and
than
I'm
a
in the same
target, I
boat.
guess.
Now, how many arrows have you lost?
like 4, I think. But when you break that down, that's like almost $200.
I was gonna say that's like I had to remortgage my house after that fourth one. Woo!
I've come close. I had the closest I came. I was about 42 yards from just slightly under 200, probably a 185,
Nothing wrong with
195
that.
mule deer, and I was buck fever.
Just
And he was 42
spray and
yards
pray.
on, and I put my 60-yard pin on him, and I just grazed over his back, and I was like, like
Just the heartbreaker shot.
it
eh?
was tough, but this will be the year. That's
Yeah.
what I say every year.
Well,
Whatever.
hey,
I got to
you're
justify.
bound to be right one
I have
day.
to justify all the money I spent to my wife somehow.
I'm going to go with. I would have to give up hunting. I would.
You're a
fish.
fisherman.
Yeah.
There you
here's-
go.
here's
There's
the
something you
argument
can
side
do.
starts.
Something you can do year round.
Yeah.
And I will have to point out that I find it extremely ironic that the two guys are the heaviest guys that like to go trudging in the bush and go hunting, and then it's the two lighter guys that like to go
love
sit in a
I'm
boat
just putting
and
my
go
feet up
fishing.
on a boat. Yeah. All right. Well, then, if as far as you're a fisherman, what's your favorite fish? Like what's
Walleye.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Walleye's the best. They just taste so goddamn good.
Yeah, and there's a plethora of them out there.
Yes, there's quite a few, and they're not quite as easy to catch. Like if you're a jack fisherman, I know a lot of guys like to do that because of the size.
But we also
I always
forgot
find jack
to
so easy to catch.
forgot to ask Mike where's his favorite place to go hunt.
Okay, yeah. Where's your coordinates, bro?
Yeah, still gonna need those.
Down south.
Down south.
You're a southern man.
Yeah, southern Canada, just
It
around
depends.
there.
We go up around that Somme Porcupine Forest quite a bit, and
Okay.
Oh yeah, love it up
down in 17, like Momart, Glenavon area. There we have areas there, and then down south. I won't be as specific around where that is because I don't want any more foot traffic down there than we have.
there. Here, just
Yeah. I'll Google map it to you.
you want to throw me a pin?
Get them a couple more drinks in them and try and loosen them up.
Yeah, all this water that I'm crushing today will be. Should have been there last night.
do me a favor. While you're actually there and you see them, throw me a pin then.
Yeah,
Save
exactly.
me all the work.
Yeah, just put yourself on Snapchat, locate and shit.
You might get that from Chase. You won't get it from me.
Well, obviously, as we've been talking here, you guys can tell I'm a fishing guy as well. I'm always about the walleye.
Yeah.
And Limestone Lake is my go-to
Limestone,
place.
where is that?
It's right across from Deschambault, actually.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know about it, which is funny because it's right next to such a big, popular lake. And it's amazing fishing in the sense that you catch a ton. I've never caught a bunch of big ones, which I was kind of disappointed with when we went to Tobin. Chase, we'd gone to Tobin for his bachelor party. I was really hoping to get on the lake and catch something of some size. Well, we couldn't even take the boat out because it was so goddamn windy. They wouldn't let us take it out. Plus, I'm sure we were probably all
Probably wouldn't let you take it out anyway.
Yeah.
The condition you guys are in.
hammered. Well, to be fair, I was in a condition probably worse than the rest of them. But yeah, they were all kind of halfway there.
Where me and my family have gone every year is a place called Mississippi, which is about 45 minutes north of
I know where
Otter,
Mississippi is.
Otter Lake. It's awesome. Awesome fishing.
Yeah. What's the
And,
biggest walleye you ever caught out there?
I haven't caught very many big ones. I know my mom caught a 26-pound jack out there. That was a like.
It's a big fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 26-pound jack, not bad at all.
That's a
What's
lot
like for your mule deer? What's the crowning achievement of mule deer you've ever actually bagged? Like the best fucking
Best
number
mule
one
deer?
with a bullet, pun intended.
I think 175.
That's not bad.
Not huge for a mule deer, but I also I was at a point, I'd say in the last 4 years now, I'm only shooting for horns. Mm-hmm. Like,
Well, what kind of points were on there?
horns and antlers. I'm shooting for wall stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
So do you have pretty clean shots? Like you don't shoot in the head and explode the skull and then try and get
No,
somebody to
no.
clean the skull so the skull falls apart?
That doesn't happen.
that's never happened last year.
What about you, Nathan, with the elk? Like, what's the absolute gold star? One
Honestly,
you got to brag to your friends about.
as weird as it sounds, I prefer a spike when it comes to the elk over. Like, don't get me wrong. If I saw a giant, I would take the shot. But I've had meat from a big elk. Like my buddy Clay shot one that was just over 400 last year.
Yeah, that thing's a tank.
Right. I got to see those in person. That was some girth I haven't seen before. And
Now for the next segment of the show.
How big is it?
Show
It's
us
not
with
gay
your
if you're hunting.
well, show us with your hands how big it was.
Yeah. I couldn't get both my fists around it.
There's so many things I can't do.
But I've had meat from a bigger elk, and it honestly, I had. When it comes down to like eating pleasure, the spike that I shot last year, even just a basic steak off of it was better than most of the ribeye I've ever purchased from my butcher or anything else. It was just that much of a better quality.
Do you usually just go straight cuts of meat from or do you guys mix sausage? Like I know
With
that's
my
a
elk?
big thing with wild game.
With my elk, it's almost 90% straight cut.
Really? Like, do you make sausage off it, or is
I
it just
usually
don't
ma-
cut, or
I
do you
usually
just take
with
steaks?
my grind, I usually make about 15 pounds of sausage.
Holy shit!
Right?
Look at those motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
That's your buddy.
Yeah.
Holy.
That's a
This
good friend
is,
of mine. That thing
Can
is.
we get that picture?
I just
up there?
googled the world record
Oh
elk
my
here.
goodness.
Yeah.
That's got to be
It's on
tough.
Facebook.
Just type Clay Roberts elk up into the top corner there.
Clay
Oh,
Roberts.
it's that big. He got it on the internet.
Oh yeah.
Holy
That
It
thing
was
is
in. It's
monster.
been in a
That-
few publications.
That is
thing
a
was a
freaking
machine.
impressive set.
There you go. It's already right there.
Would
Top
you
search.
imagination that?
It's either top searched or Google just is a mind reading son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's listening to the podcast the entire time.
Look at that.
Wow,
machine.
that is some size, man.
Well,
Jesus.
I went the wrong way.
You said that thing was 400.
I want to say it was actually a little closer to 4.
My
Wasn't
at
it
the end of it,
4? Was it almost
419?
30?
I thought the dry score I think was 419.
how'd you get that thing out of the bush?
I was not a part of that.
Oh, good.
Helicopter.
There is some pictures of him with his ATV trailer and fighting to get it up and everything, and
More
that's the
important-
other reason why I don't want to shoot an absolute monster because I got to get it out by myself.
How did he get it in the door of his house after?
It still hasn't made it into the door of the house, to my knowledge.
What's the?
It's still waiting on the taxidermist to finish up with everything.
Is
What
he getting
is-
that thing full
Oh,
done?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what is
amazing
this?
elk.
And what did this one score?
It was
trying to-
over 4. I
trying
can't
to
remember
find
the
it right
exact
now.
number.
And what's the world record?
440?
449.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he was that close, eh?
Oh, yeah.
That's really impressive. Where'd he shoot it? Like around the area, I'm asking. Not
Northern
for coordinates.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Northern Saskatchewan.
Oh yeah.
You won't.
Where was the other? Does anybody know where the
Is
other
that
record
real?
was from?
Pardon?
The biggest record, was it in Canada or is it somewhere else?
I actually want to say one of the biggest natural, like not, or not natural, sorry, non-typical, biggest typical, I think was Saskatchewan as well.
So
I almost want to say.
for
No,
our-
sorry, non-typical. It was the
our-
girl with all those shooter spikes.
Our
that-
for our listeners that don't know, explain what the difference between a typical and a non-typical is.
Yeah.
So a typical is going to be nearly identical antlers on both sides. They're going to be very, very, very close. Whereas a non-typical could be like your normal antler on one side and then a big drop down or a bunch of stuff shooting off to the side. And a lot of that kind of weird stuff that you see is going to be prevalent
And-
to a previous injury and stuff like that where it kind of...
Clay's, that was
And when it comes to scoring, what do they determine the scoring on?
inches.
just the inches of bone.
409, 409
Tip
and
to
6
tip,
eighths.
right?
Yeah, 409, that's what it was.
Tip to tip from
Tip to
each
tip,
antler?
tines, thickness, girth, everything. Yeah.
They rate that in other things too.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
been
I
in
don't
a-
rate very high.
I've been in a few
Yeah,
competitions.
that's banana farming.
Wait, we're still talking about hunting, right?
What?
If you have a 14 pointer, you have to go to the doctor.
I should have double bagged that one.
Careful,
Well,
it bites.
That was probably one of the funniest first bloods we've ever done. Do we want to take a break or do we want to?
Well, let's keep going a bit. Ask
All
them
right.
some more stuff about like your favorite hunting story or your.
Well, that's we're getting into
Oh,
the
the
second wind here.
second wind for
to
that?
take
Okay.
it back. Okay, so yeah, second wind is more of a jovial scenario, although that wasn't too much of an
Yeah.
argument. What's your favorite hunting story? Because you're a hunting guy, so we'll
Yeah.
just exclude the fishing. Like a funny story that you love to tell when you bring a new guy hunting. Because we all got them.
So this one isn't so much something that everybody's going to do. I went to Florida actually back in 2019 for an alligator hunt. It was something completely unique. It was an absolute blast. But long story short,
No
so
pun intended.
you'll see. So we're out on the boat, and it's actually really cool. So it's hunting alligator is a mix of fishing and hunting. So you take seasoned like chickens that have been brining and God knows what to be smelly. You toss them out, and then you drive the boat a couple 100 yards away, and then you do what's called popping the chicken. So you pull, and the chicken drops below water, and then pops back up and creates a bunch of vibrations. And you'll watch gators come from everywhere to try and get at them. And we had a lot of fun. We ended up catching and releasing, I think, 4 or 5 before we actually took the one. And so we're right coming close to the end of it. It's like, hey, we're going to take, or we're going to keep going. It's starting to rain, starting to get dark. Camera gear goes away. And we catch this one. It ended up being 8 foot 7 inches. We were hoping to get closer to that 10, even 13 foot, like get a big gator. But we're bringing this one in, and just as we're getting ready to release it, it turns and it snaps, takes a big chunk out of the side of the fairing on Rob's boat. And I go, Rob, if you want, I can take this one. And he goes, please. And so we get everything ready. We get the bang stick ready. And it's still going nuts, still moving quite a bit. And he just happened to flick his tail at the right second to bring his head above water rather than submerged where you want it to be when the bang stick goes off. So not only did we absolutely deafen ourselves due to the 44 meg bang stick going off with 0 ear protection inches away from us, but because he moved, I didn't hit him in that base of the, behind the base of the skull where the vertebrae goes in.
Yeah.
I physically hit him in the skull.
So now he's big and he's pissed
no, he's
off.
dead.
Oh.
He died.
Oh.
He died real quick.
But they have some pretty thick skulls.
Oh yeah, but that's exactly it. What it did is it blew that bullet apart and sent a chunk of shrapnel through my my right ear.
Really?
And I'm
Oh
sitting
my
there,
God.
and I hadn't figured out what happened yet, and I was like, and I could hear sizzling. And I said, and Rob looks over and goes, "That was loud, wasn't it?" I was like, "Yeah, I think it melted my ear." He looks at me, he's like, "Melted your ear? What are you? Is that Canadian slang?" I'm like, "No, man. I can hear my ear sizzling." And he turns my head and he looks. He goes, "Oh shit!" And he pulls out this chunk that's probably about yay big of brass out of my ear, which I still have. I definitely
So
kept
now
that.
you are now known as the Evander Holyfield of gator hunting.
Essentially. So I had a chunk of brass sticking out of the top, the rest sticking out of the bottom, and it was something else.
You
And
gotta,
now
you gotta get that gator mounted with 2 boxing gloves and a Mike Tyson plaque underneath.
with that piece out of my ear right on his forehead.
Oh yeah,
And that
No, you
massive
get that
hole. in
fashion
his-
Just
around
like-
one of his teeth.
just
give him
in,
a gold tooth with it.
just like in Happy Gilmore. Remember that that gator took your
Your
ear,
chubs. Your chubs.
your chubs.
Yeah. But no, so it's not so much a story that, obviously, when you're getting people into hunting, yeah, no, you're going to go kill a
Yeah.
gator. It's a little bit out there, but that's probably my favorite story. When it
Oh
comes
no,
to-
that's a beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, not too many of us will ever get down to the
Yeah.
gator hunting.
Honestly, if you're ever going to go do it, it's not super expensive, but it's worth it.
yeah.
Yeah, it is an
So
absolute
did you
blast.
get to bring the meat back?
Oh, yeah, I brought
So
everything.
No,
Hides.
no import bullshit.
If you're driving, when it comes, there's the way the permitting works is I actually, I spent almost a day and a half on the phone with Canadian Customs, Canadian Food Immigration, whatever it was. I spoke with about 15 different people to finally get through to the person who had the answer, who went, "No, that's called a sportsman's trophy. Gator meat is not regulated, so you don't need any extra permits. As long as you're driving across the border, you don't need any special permits aside from the tag and the hide."
And how is it?
Phenomenal.
It's good meat.
Oh yeah, it's great.
What would you say it tastes similar to?
I hate to be this person, but
It
it's
tastes like
chicken.
chicken. Yeah.
It's like a chewy chicken. It's almost identical, aside from being a little
You
chewier.
should next year when you go back, you should come back with some earmuff protection that are gator skinned.
It could have been worse. See, I was
And
I
have
was
a
saying,
little-
Make it come full circle. That would
and
be
have
funny
a
as
little
heck.
chunk taken out of it.
Next time we have Nathan
little
on the
shrapnel
show,
mark.
he'll come in with a gator skin pimp jacket.
Boots,
Really
everything.
deadly.
Yeah, I shot 12 of them.
I think
All right,
I
boys.
think the funniest one. I'll go a quick one too.
Okay,
is-
yeah. We got the
I
next
wasn't
funny
with
story.
me, but I was at my friend of the family's wedding, and his dad is best friends with my dad, and so they're out hunting. Obviously, did the whole saw a deer, leaned over the back of the truck, didn't have the barrel high enough, but could see the deer through the scope. So shot through the side of the box of the truck.
Oh,
And
did he get the deer?
no, he was complaining.
Got the truck, though.
He was complaining that he saw sparks in the scope and that it was really loud and everything. And his dad's just like, well, I don't know, you echoed through the box of the truck and sparks. Well, yeah, you got gunpowder in there. It's gonna. So later in the day, they're driving around and gets out, has to take a piss, and gets back in the truck. And that's it. I'm done hunting, selling all my gear. I'm done. I shouldn't be shooting guns. And sure enough, told his dad, yeah, there's a hole in the box of the truck from when I shot the gun. Fast forward about 4 years, the truck's already been sold, gone, everything like that, or rebuilt, or I can't remember what they did with it. And
A little bit of Bondo here, a little bit of Bondo there, and nobody needs to know.
That's right.
his uncle was doing the speech and telling the story at his wedding, on his wedding day. And so he reaches down and brings up a marksman award. Pulls the cover off, and it's a cutout section of the box of the truck that he shot the bullet through on a plaque.
That is awesome.
That's awesome. That's so
I remember
awesome.
reading about that in Big Truck Hunter.
Was it a Dodge or a Chev?
Old square body.
Oh, nice.
Right on. That's a good. Well, that kind of reminds me of one of my favorite stories from fishing. Was this year I showed you guys. I don't know if you saw. I got a belt made, a championship belt made, because every year we go to a place called Limestone and we have kind of our own little fishing tournament.
Yeah.
But the belt isn't about who catches the most or the biggest. It's about the guy who makes the best memory. And that year that I brought it up, this year, first day on the trip, I caught 2 fish with 1 hook.
Nice.
I caught a tiny little one. He must have bit it first, and then this big one came in, and I pulled them both up on the same hook. And I thought, well, I'm going to be the fucking champ. You know, I know it's day 1, but that's a pretty good fucking story.
Already holding the belt over his head.
Right? But it kind
Give it to me now.
Well, it felt a bit like a hollow victory because I had bought the belt. I had brought it. I was like, we're going to
that
make this
guy.
a thing. And then it looks like I bought it just so I could be like, yeah, I'm the fucking man. Yeah. But then the last day, we're leaving. And we had my brother and a buddy of his. They bring their kids on the trip. And they're 9, I think, both of them. And the last day, the guy who runs the camp, he was taking in a rental boat. And he's a bit of an older guy. And he goes, ass over tea kettle in the water, right? And he pops up and his shoes are floating and his wallet's at the bottom. And one of the kids, Brayton, he dives in and gets his keys, his wallet, his glasses, all this stuff. And he's kind of all feeling really like, yeah, I helped out. Well, I couldn't pass up the chance to give the kid the belt. So when everybody was voting, it came down to the decision where, you know, like everybody took a vote, who gets the belt. I had to vote for the kid, man, because not only did he do a really good little like deed for the guy, but he's going to remember winning that belt a hell of a lot more than me, a guy who's been fishing. So we gave it to him, and him and my nephew were just chuffed to the gills later. Just like, you know, they were up to like 3:30 in the morning giggling in their bedroom, you know, about
I'm the champion of the universe.
That's what I mean. I felt so great about that.
Here's
It was
an
one of the
idea
best
for
ones.
the next memory right here. I'm going to
The
bring
next
up.
memory.
This one, yes.
He throws in the lure of the seagull.
We could do that at Regina Beach.
Fucking awesome.
Edit that in with the
Fuck that. We're going
only-
fishing for seagulls
Oh,
next
if
time
only
we
we
go.
had a little person friend so we can bloop.
You chuck them at the seagull. That's
He's pretty proud of himself there, too.
All right, Mike, what about you? What's your best funny hunting,
So
fishing
many
story?
stories like from growing up and stuff, but the one that lately it just makes me chuckle. And I think about it, it wasn't even me. I wasn't even there. It was just a buddy told me this story. It was wintertime and they're out whitetail hunting and they're driving. He's got to take a dump, eh? And you know what it's like. And so he's driving and he's got he's a farm boy. So the old 1-piece skidoo suit and whatever. So he trudges into the bush there and does what he's got to do. And he takes his dump and whatever. A couple hours later, they're driving around, and I think he was with his dad at the time. And his dad's like,
where this is going.
"It smells like shit in here." Like in the truck, they're driving around, and then they did some research and found out that he took a shit in the hood of his hoodie. So he had this log just trudging in the back there all day as they're driving around, and I don't know what makes me think of it. Sometimes I just, when you're, for me at work when I'm on the road, and my mind just wanders, and then I was thinking of some stuff because him and I have had some pretty good memories growing up, and was like, fuck that guy, you know, like that's pretty classic that you just crush a deuce and then you're holding it hostage in your hood while you drive around.
Not totally related to hunting.
Well,
You throw that whole
I'm going
hoodie
to
away
ask you,
afterwards.
is the part that makes you laugh, because just like you said, I wasn't there either, but just thinking about it is trying to figure out how he didn't notice that his hood was hanging under while he was, you know, I could just picture a guy in a full-on suit down to his fucking ankles, not noticed it scooted out behind him, and he just fucking,
I don't know.
all right, we're good. Zip.
Things happen in this universe for a reason, and
Was
that
there
was
toilet paper in there too?
I don't know. Like, I just
A
think
little
it was
tail walking
just
around.
funny, right? Like it's just
There's this one.
At least he didn't put the hood up.
yeah.
Not related to hunting, but related to your story. When I was working out with the frac crews there, when I had the crane out there, they didn't have the bathroom shack out there yet. And the one guy on the coil truck, he had to really go.
The
What
coil
a-
truck.
What an ironic name for,
Exactly.
They should have
So-
known there was going to be a problem.
It's actually where they keep the coil of steel to send down the weld to do
That's-
fracking.
yeah.
But
Oh, that's not what I think it means.
That's only a real powerful morning shit if
Yeah.
you're fracking. oh, boys. Gas was released from the ground.
just sending it down the well, buddy. But
Jesus Christ.
But what the guy did, and the one guy on the frac crew, he had really sick sense of humor. So
I like
of
him
course,
already.
what he does, you know, it's not. He has his coveralls on, but not the same story. He goes behind the truck and he's going to pop a squat, and the one guy, the one coil hand there, or the coil truck hand,
It just leads into so many good jokes.
he goes. He crawls on the other side of from the other side of the truck with a scoop shovel, and he's slowly, quietly slides in underneath him. And so while he's taking a dump, he doesn't know that he's dumping into a shovel. And so he's taking a dump, and then as soon as he's done, guy sees him stand up because obviously his
He's done.
parts that you don't want to see are disappeared.
His coil truck is empty.
His coal truck is empty.
I don't know.
And
if
then
we're
when he's
adults
done-
for this story.
He stands up, and the other guys are watching from the cab, the coil cab, you would call it, laughing their asses off. And he pulls the shovel out after he's done, and he just kind of like hides on the other side of the truck. And the guy gets up, and he's looking around everywhere. He cannot find it. He's got his
Houdini.
coveralls are off. He's searching his coveralls. He cannot find it for the life of him, and he's like probably sat there for like 15 minutes, and then finally it's just like, I guess that's happened, and then he,
It's fine. But just
comes back.
gave up on the hunt.
I don't think
back in the truck
Just
and be
fully
like,
ghosted it.
I got a story for you guys.
I don't think nobody told him what happened for like a week after that.
You guys aren't going to believe this, but there's a turd stealing ghost in camp.
No, it was right on the lease.
It's funny.
But
That's a
I
good
think we'll
one.
wrap it up with
I
first
think,
blood on
yeah,
that one.
That's
some
well,
great
no,
shitty
that's
stories.
second win there.
That's golden.
All right, so now we head to third win, the question segment of the thing. And since we have a great guest,
Should we take a
on
little
here,
break first?
We can definitely take a break.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Do just some coil work.
Time for Fuju.
Food.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Oh, that's funny.
So now we come up to the final segment of the show, the third wheel, where we ask a bunch of questions of our guest, obviously, and we're gonna throw a bunch at you. So Nathan, with your channel, with your page, obviously you're doing a lot better than us. You're kind of giving us some tips in between the breaks here of how to grow the show. What do you got in the future for your show? What's coming up that people can look forward to?
So a lot of the things that I want to do, like I said, I originally started this out as a page for me to just have some fun, share some memes or whatever, and then after
Now look what you did.
it's fun. It's a lot of, like, for lack of better terms, it's just fun. After going gator hunting with Robert Arrington from Deer Meat for Dinner, that's where it really kind of made me think, maybe I should really dig into this. The guy spends his time hunting and fishing, and he gets paid to do it, and he does well for himself doing it. If I could do a third of as well, just to pay my bills and enjoy what I love as a career, that's what I want to do. So from there, my goal is just to kind of make some more videos, have some more fun. The next one that I got coming up is I'm going to head down to the Alameda Dam. That's the very first place I ever went fishing as a kid with my grandfather. He's the one who got me started into everything. He definitely ignited a passion within me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take my son there. He's 6 right now. he's gone a couple times, but he has yet to actually catch a fish. He's wasn't really ready to sit and focus for an extended period of time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it would
All been
be
there.
First
toss the
time,
line out and reel it right back in.
First time shooting a gun, did you get scope bite?
No, that was actually relatively recently. I could see you looking at it. So I've got, I've had the same rifle for quite a few years now. I've got a Ruger American 308, and it had this Nikon scope on it that was missing the rubber ring at the back of the scope. And it was fine for years with no issues with this chunk of steel inches from my face. And I was wearing a big bulky sweater at the range as we were getting ready. Like it wasn't a sweater, it was a coat. Like it was one of those poofy winter coats.
Yeah.
As we're getting ready for deer hunting because I thought my gun was out. And I thought it was tight to my shoulder. It wasn't. So I let the shot fly and I just felt the metal hit my, like it was bad. Like this was deep. Like I could peel it apart and be like, oh hey, there's my skull.
There you go. This is what we play for.
Yeah.
I think I was like 10 years old, and my dad took me out to the pits there, and he's sighting in his gun, and he says, yeah, your turn. I'm like, nope. And he's like, your turn. And I was like, oh, okay. And, you got to do what dad says.
Yeah.
And he's, hold it tight to your shoulder, because it's going to hurt if you don't. And I'm like, I'm 10 years old. How tight can I hold this 303 British to my shoulder?
Oh, with a brass butt plate with
Yeah.
2 screws that stick out a 1/4 inch.
Oh, yeah. I came home with a shiner. Mom's like, what did you do?
He wasn't listening.
Exactly, yeah.
I was paying too close of attention.
Yeah. Well, I was 39 the first time I scoped myself.
Never scoped myself.
We'll
Granted,
fix that.
I've only shot one gun with a scope, so
We'll fix that.
I've
I'll
got
move my
one.
scope back just a little bit.
I'll move my head back.
That's
a
what
little bit.
happened. That's what
Ha!
happens when you
Take
use
that, science.
when you use someone else's gear that's set up for them.
And what's your go-to rifle?
My 308. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. I'm really comfortable with it. I take it for absolutely every game. The only thing that I've killed outside of my 308 was I bought a 30-30 because that's what my grandfather used to hunt with. He's since passed away back in 15, just before my son was born, actually. But he always had a 30-30 lever, so I bought one that was a really good deal. And it was fun. It didn't have that kind of sentimental value that I thought, and that's actually what I ended up trading for what I'm building into the rolling hunting cabin. It's the goal for that is going to be fully self-sustaining solar. There's going to be large PVC tubes that run along the roof to heat water. Obviously, I'll have to bring water, but for the most part, it'll be fully self-sustaining. Heat will be wood-burning stove, solar power to charge gear and have
Well,
lights.
this is the off-grid camper you're talking
Yes.
about, and that's another video project you have that
Yeah.
you're working on right now. So
Is that going to be mobile, or is it stationary?
fully mobile. It's
Okay.
I've lopped off the back 6 feet of it. It was a 21-foot camper. I've lopped off the back 6 feet. I'm going to put an 8-foot deck on the back, so it's going to stick out a little bit past the bumper, with an overhang on the roof, with a removable side, so I can ride my quad up onto the back of it for transport. It's going to be fully something that I can, not only for hunting, but for ice fishing and everything else. It'll be fully.
Oh, for everything year
Oh, yeah.
round.
yeah.
And then you have to put a patent on it. And then,
I don't know if I can patent a 1972 Jayco. I don't think that's an
Well,
option.
you can patent anything these
you
days.
can patent,
That's
the,
right,
patent the
yeah.
design.
That's right.
But yeah, so the goal is to be, like I said, a fully sustainable rolling hunting cabin.
That
And-
well, if you ever do get that done, we'll have you back on the show and you can demonstrate it for us. We'll
We'll
take
take
you out
a
fishing
video.
and hunting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds
you guys
like.
are more than welcome to join anytime.
Hey man, yeah, let's cross promote the shit out of this.
That's,
But I do like how you were talking about your next video project is you're going to take your son to the Almeida Dam. I remember when I was a young man and I got hooked on fishing, pun intended.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
And like you said, I was 10. Or I was 11, and I remember sitting in the boat, and I was with my dad and his buddy Bart's, and we're sitting in the boat. And even at 10, I was like, why the fuck are we sitting here? This is boring as fuck. This is dumb. Like, I could be playing video games or watching TV. And then you got the... And suddenly, I was like, holy shit. And they're like, you got one. Everybody lost their mind. And I pulled it up, and I got it. I'm like, now it all makes sense.
Everything changed right then and
It
there.
makes 100% sense why we're sitting here for 4 hours doing nothing to do this for 5 seconds.
I'm a fishing god.
God, I love fishing.
And that was the moment I got hooked. And so
No
I
pun
understand
intended.
as a kid at 6 years old, it's very hard to get them to stay still.
It's not even to stay still. Like he'll sit there, but his thing is he doesn't understand leaving it alone.
Oh, yeah.
I'll toss it out. It'll sit. I got a fish. You've got nothing. Leave it alone.
Well, see, and
That's just the current, bud.
the shitty part of that is my nephew, my firstborn nephew, he was 10 when he came out, and we went through the whole, the rigmarole of
The what?
the rigmarole. Sorry.
Okay.
One more time.
You heard it. Of like, you're gonna think you're getting a hit. It's just the waves and this and that. And we did this whole thing. We put him in the water, and he drops it down, and he goes, "I got a fish." And we're like, "Oh, Donovan, like it's the boat's rocking." And he's like, "No." And he takes his rod, and he pulls it up in the air, and it bends over like a motherfucker. And he's like, "No, I have a fish." And we're like, "Oh shit, well, reel." Right? So he reels it in. And he's been in the water for all of 15 seconds. He catches his first fish inside of a minute, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't get this whole fishing thing. Like, it's pretty easy." And I was just like, "Man, oh."
Come here a minute.
I was so mad because I sat in a boat for 4 hours, being like, "This is dumb," and he gets it in fucking 15 seconds, and he doesn't like fishing now.
Kids getting a whooping.
I shouldn't say he doesn't like it. He likes fishing, but he likes more like hanging out with the boys more than the actual act.
Well, isn't that what it-
socializing.
Yeah.
Isn't that what half of it's about anyway?
Oh, absolutely. But he gets bored of catching fish, and I could never imagine that growing up as a kid. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Oh.
It never gets boring.
When we were up at Dory this year, like I've never caught fish like that in my life. Like
Yeah?
it was ridiculous.
Are you talking like 20, 30 a day, 40, 50 a day?
I bet you that one day we were over 200.
Yeah.
What?
See, that's how limestone is for us.
See, maybe
Like,
if I could fish like that, my answer might change on which
I'm
I had to
telling
get
you,
rid
come
of.
to limestone with me, buddy.
But I toss out a line and I'll sit
30
there
in
forever.
a day is an average day
When,
at this lake.
I think for me, I got turned off from hunting when I was early in it. I think I was like 14.
Does this have anything to do with the 303 British?
No, I wasn't even
No, it
shooting.
has
I was
something to
just
do with
out
inappropriate
to.
touching with his cousin.
Yeah, I was just out there to push
And
bush.
on that note, our next break.
Yeah, exactly. A word
Just
from our
scroll down there.
sponsors.
Down
I may or may not have got lost in the bush while pushing bush and had a minor freak out. And
How old were you?
14,
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. That's understandable.
and I couldn't.
Just a 14.
I
I'd
couldn't
be a little-
see or hear anybody around me. Turns out it's a typical like almost rectangle bush in the middle of the field, and my dad's is like, "Here's what you do: you walk to a tree and you look straight ahead and you walk towards that other tree and you walk a perfectly straight line through the bush every time." So here am I. I'm fucking completely distracted. ADD. There's a squirrel over there. There's this right. And then I get
wolf coming.
I get completely turned around. I bet you if there's a GPS tracker on me, it would have been like, oh yeah, all over.
Would have
the
been like a
place.
spirograph.
And then I'm freaking out. I'm calling for people and nobody's answering, and I'm just like, oh, this is my life now.
Yeah.
This is
We were up in
I
Porcupine.
live here now.
yeah.
We were up in Porcupine Forest, probably, I don't know. This was my sister's first husband, would have been like early 2000s. And we were up moose hunting, and he had he had all the fucking technology for back in the day. Like he had that old yellow Garmin.
I've had one of those. They suck.
And him and so we split up because there's 6 of us up there. We split up into twos. So there's me and my buddy, and then another 2 guys, and then my sister's husband and buddy's dad. And so he's got all this technology and thinks he's like the greatest hunter on the fucking planet. And this guy, he wouldn't even touch a dead animal.
oh, God.
And
One of those.
One of those guys that wears a glove to go fishing.
So
you know?
day one,
Hey, leave my glove alone.
day one,
Fuck, if you wear a glove, we're never fishing.
I'm kidding.
day one,
Maybe.
we each have whitetail tags and moose tags. Day one, he shot the smallest fawn in the history
Did he
of deer.
blow the last spot off of the darn thing?
No, but pretty much. And then he's sitting there and he's bragging. He's like, "Fuck, I got the first deer, guys," and blah blah blah. And we're all just like, go up. You can just grab it by the scruff of the neck and put it in the truck. It was so small that the impact of the bullet gutted it.
It was so small.
that
it
with a
counts as
muskrat
carry
once.
on.
It was no bigger than a medium-sized house dog.
Oh,
But anyways, so we're
probably tender though.
like then I bet it was
Well,
all 3 pounds of meat you got off of that. So we're up like the day or two later. We're actually in the forest, and we're me and my buddy are out. We're going one direction, they're going another, and the other 2 are going another. And plan was like we left, kind of 45 minutes. It was still dark out in the morning when we got to where we were going to start walking. We all we'll meet back here, whatever, was it 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon? And so we're all back there, and these two aren't back yet. Where the fuck are these guys? And you start to kind of worry. And it's my buddy's dad that he's like, well, what's going on? Did something happen? Nobody had radios. We didn't have. Yeah. So eventually they show up, and his dad is fuming, mad, and the guy, my sister's ex, is just stupid, right? And
How did he do it? Okay. I just wanted to know how he went.
and so he he goes, I'm not fucking walking. I'm not going with this guy anymore. I'm done. I'll go sit by myself. I don't care. And he had his GPS, and they're lost, and they couldn't find their way back to the truck. And I was like, well, doesn't Dum Dum have a GPS? Oh yeah, he does. So we looked at the GPS, and they walked 400 yards from the truck, and then they walked in circles all day.
In the same location.
Basically, just like kind of every
Spiraling their way out.
and then they get
Whose ever footprints these are, they have the same boots as we do.
and then so
Oh, I think someone's been here already, guys.
Just comes across. It's some moron got lost.
so then now they never made it a kilometer away from the truck.
No way.
That day my buddy and I put on 14 kilometers of walking.
That is they.
And then
wow.
so he couldn't find his way
Well, I
back
bet you
with
they
his
probably put about 14 kilometers on a walking. They just know every square.
It's like the
inch.
mall walking of hunting.
I don't know. There's a lot of. Did you guys know Bigfoot wears Sorels? So and then it was just like, fuck you guys. How do you I don't even to this day I don't have a GPS. I just I have a gift where I can kind of.
Why don't you go and brag about it?
Yeah, see, I don't have that.
Oh,
I've been
I'm-
in a similar situation. The first time that we ever shot a bear, I was with my buddy Matt. We were up by Candle Lake, and we see this thing, and you have to be. It's like 400 yards from the road. We're just far enough, and get lined up, shoot this thing. It runs for probably another 800-900 yards like this.
It's adrenaline.
Yeah, so we finally find the bear and start dragging it back in the rough general direction. We have a pretty good idea. And then we're starting to get a little, are we sure we're going the right way? And it gets to the point where we're literally, I think we're lost in the middle of the forest out by Candle Lake dragging a bear. And so we kind of hang Buddy's coat up in one tree so we can see it from a good distance, and we start walking. And I can still see the coat. I'm maybe 100 yards from the coat. And I don't know why, but I got this idea. I was like, I wonder. Grab my keys, hit the lock button twice. I hear my truck honk from about 4 feet away through the bush. I'm like, yay!
Oh, sweet, we're here. Yeah.
And then
So,
that same trip, you're commenting in regards to the smallest fawn ever. That same friend, where he's lined up he's got his tag for his buck, and he's only got the rest of the day to hunt because he's going to Alberta on Monday for a few weeks, so he won't be able to actually fill that tag.
Yeah.
So he sees a really nice doe. She's got a couple of fawns with her. They're good sized fawns. They're not they'll be fine on their own. And he's lining up on her. It's an uphill shot, and I don't know what happens, but I watched him slip in the mud on this hill as he's taking the shot. Misses the doe altogether, blows the front legs out of this fawn.
Oh, no.
No.
Although he did say it was probably the best deer meat he's ever had.
So when you're making sausage, what's your mix? Do you like 70-30, 60-40?
I use 70-30 pork, but I go 50-50 pork to beef.
Okay.
Or pork to deer.
Really?
Elk, I'll do a lot less. It'll be 80-30. This
What's
is
the mix here,
60-40.
yeah?
So what would I explain to the people what you got here for
We got
us?
some
This
bear.
is black bear. That's 60-40. I told my butcher, you know what?
Never tried bear before. I'm
Should we
excited.
dig in and
Yeah,
give it a
man.
try?
I want
Yep.
to try.
I
some
told
of
my
this.
butcher
I've
make
never
something
had
that I
bear
think
before.
my wife might enjoy.
Who
was
wants
the biggest thing.
to do the honors and give cut a couple of slices off?
Cut a couple slices.
Right
off
on, right
of
on.
stuff.
And this is what's this mix you said?
It's 60-40. It's black bear. I'm not 100% sure what he went with for a seasoning. It was all done in house.
I really hope I got all the frozen out of it when I put it on the.
Did you boil it first?
I boiled it for about 10 minutes.
Cheese is melted. I think we're good.
It looks pretty cheesy. Is this Mike's cheese in here?
No, this was from the butcher. This is, but it's not.
That's that high temp shit.
No, it is not. He doesn't use that. He's just as
big of a
And that's
what's the word proponent of
that's
it.
cheddar.
Yeah.
Well, let's give her the old
I
taste
gotta
test
give
here.
her a-
I've never had bear
Two
before.
two of the four of us have never had bear before.
Smells good.
Oh my, that was good.
That's actually not bad at all.
Oh, that second piece has a lot of cheese.
So the biggest thing with bear, sorry, I got a piece of it there. The biggest thing with bear, it has to reach a minimum of 137 degrees, just because of everything the bear eats.
Delicious, man.
Yeah, you run the risk of trichinosis. So this one obviously smoked, cured, everything like sausage would be, and then we recooked it again. But that's a big myth that you have to cook bear 100% well done. Anything over 137 degrees, which is why, like when I do it, I'll sous vide it and then I'll sear it.
What do you think, in your opinion? What's the percentage of people that hunt bear that just leave it in the woods?
A high percentage.
that won't
They'll take
even-
the hide. They'll take maybe a little bit of the meat just to
That-
say, "Hey, I tried it."
Yeah.
That's not cool.
At the
Now-
end of the day, it's not. I get it. If you don't want to eat a predator, it's fine. It is what it is. It's not a bad idea to be hunting them. A lot of people don't hunt them purely for the fact is, well, I'm not going to eat it. If you're not going to eat it, don't eat the meat. There's plenty of people who will. But with circumstances like they were in the last 2 years with COVID, we haven't had American hunters in. That's thousands of bear.
Bear population is ridiculous.
That is a lot of bear that have not been shot
So,
over the course of 2 years. So
now-
there's going to be big bear who are fighting for territory, who are then going to meander into those small towns in the middle of the northern zones, and that's when you deal with problems.
Cut a few off there, buddy. So there's this. The problem I have with, I'm all for the hunting and everything like that. I have no quarrels against it. What I don't like is the hunting shows on TV where like they're all obviously like in a controlled area and everything like
where
that.
you can really tell that this is
Yeah,
not put together well.
yeah, like those hunting shows, they just bother me. It's like, yeah, that's a big deer, but it was probably already raised in that whole area that's completely fenced in that you can't see the fences.
Well, it's not even just that.
Oh, you mean the zoo?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a few
That's why
hunting
I'm not allowed
shows.
back there.
There's a few hunting shows that I know of, and I'm not going to name any names.
Yeah, don't.
But I have heard of this where they have guys who will go out and scout prior to the episode. Okay,
Well, they have
there's
to
a,
because they
there's
have
a
to
deer
have
here.
content, right?
There's a deer here. This is the size you wanted to be in. Be here around this time. This is when it's coming. Myself, I would rather have a video of me not shooting a single thing than have a fake hunt put together.
Like a pre-scouted
Well,
scouting
they
trip.
have to have content, right? So
Oh, I understand that they have to have content, but you know what also makes half decent content? I don't know
Real
if you,
content.
Have you guys watched? I'm assuming you've all watched Meat Eater, right?
Oh yeah, I love that
I
show.
haven't watched that one.
One of my favorite episodes, one of the best episodes I've ever seen of his, was where he went for the blue sooty grouse in Alaska. He did an entire episode, and he shot one bird at the very end of it. It completely eluded him throughout, and it was honestly one of the best episodes I've seen of his. And it's because he was being genuine.
He's a real
He is.
real good dude. I've never met him, but if I could,
I would love to. 110% agree.
Let's get him on the podcast.
yeah, Steve Ranella, yep, I'd be in.
If you're listening, feel free to join at any time.
Yeah.
What are the odds you're one of the 11?
Yeah, one of our 11 followers and
How many people
listeners.
are on there on the planet right now? Let's math this out.
So your Facebook page, you're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. How many people you got on YouTube right now?
I want to say it's 155-ish.
Like
So-
1,000 or 100?
If you
Just
guys are
150.
if you guys are watching, bump those numbers up.
And it's all under the same name. It's Deer Blinds and Fishing Lines. And like I said, I started it out just to have some fun. Ooh, I went up by 3 since I last
Oh,
looked.
boy.
158.
Getting in that rarefied air.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
you're almost gonna get that blue check mark.
So when we get some shirts off, can I get an autographed one?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew him when.
Yeah. My autograph is going to be all kinds of pathetic because
be
I
another-
do not have a nice signature. I'm going to be straightforward with you guys.
So do you watch
he
a lot
gets
of fishing
famous, it'll
shows
just be another
or hunting
Paul
shows? and
famous
stuff?
on YouTube.
A lot.
So
It's-
who would be your favorite? Like, are you would it be Steve Ranella or
I
like
actually-
Jim Shockey?
I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and honestly, one of my favorites by far would be the guy who took me alligator hunting, Rob Arrington, Deer Meat for Dinner.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, it's right along those lines of where I'm talking about that genuine channel.
Yeah. Okay.
Like he'll go out, and if he doesn't get anything, you'll see that he didn't get anything. And I like that.
It's almost kind of the way you cooked made it. It's kind of similar to moose, a
Yeah.
little bit. But
Well, the biggest thing with bear is you get that gamey taste from a wild animal because they spend a lot of time running. They're afraid.
Yeah.
It's that lactic acid building up in the muscle.
from the adrenaline rushes,
Whereas a black bear is going to be very similar to cattle.
You better eat that.
He's not afraid of anything. He's going to wander around aimlessly. And that's why he's got a very similar taste to beef, but it's just a little sweeter. He spends a lot of time in the fall eating berries and fish and sweet stuffs to get
Use
fat.
diapers and
That's spring, and we're not going to talk about my baiting plants. No.
Campers who don't know the fucking trail markers. Yeah.
yeah.
We were at
That is
Candle.
delicious, though.
Right?
Yeah, that's super
For my
good.
first time bear, that's
And that's just cheddar cheese?
good.
That's just aged cheddar from my butcher.
That's
That was
delicious.
Yeah.
fantastic.
We were,
Thank you, Nathan.
On the topic of bears and campers, we were at Duck Mountain 2 weeks ago. Wife, kids, the in-laws, her parents, and so their campsite is right by the water. So at Duck Mountain, it goes their campsite, little skinny road for people to haul their campers down, more campsites, and then the trail off to the water. Right at the start of that trail, less than 15 feet away from my parents or my in-laws' campsite, there's a bear trap because there's been a black bear roaming around the campsites, and he's been around for a couple weeks, according to the CO. And my in-laws took my son to go for a walk down to the water to watch the meteor shower that was happening. As they were walking past the bear trap, feet from it, it clanged shut.
Oh,
And so they look over, it's thumping around, banging around, they're freaking out. And I will never be prouder of, well, not never, but I am so proud of my son. He looks at this bear and goes, well, that's about the size of the one Dad got last year. Because he came with me to bear camp, and I wanted him to understand, like, yes, you need to be weary of these things, but you need to be smart when it comes down
so
to it.
the big thing too is awareness of being in the bush around bears.
Don't
and
throw
stuff
your
like that.
bacon grease out on the field behind your
Well, that and
head.
like if you're gonna go
How else am
hunting,
I supposed to get rid
if you're
of it?
gonna go hunting up north, you obviously want to take some like courses on bear behavior or what to do if you're in close
not
contact
a
with
bad
a bear
idea.
and stuff like that.
The biggest thing to remember, black bears, while yes, they may seem timid, they're not afraid of you.
No,
By any stretch of the imagination. They may be weary of their surroundings, but once they figure out, oh, hey, I got about 300 pounds on this guy. Come here a minute.
yeah,
yeah, they. That's why I think. I mean, I don't know why, but there's been either it's documented or whatever it is, but there's been a lot more black bear attacks on people in the last couple of years that you've seen throughout the media, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you'll see it in the media, and it's not even just like actual attacks, because a lot of people, it doesn't reach the media when you hear, well, it charged me, but I got away.
yeah,
Because you're walking through the forest. It's just that mindset of, well, I'm in his home. It's okay.
yeah.
Well, no, you kind of need to pay attention to that stuff because that's early warning signs of bears that may be aggressive.
Yeah,
If he's charging you for absolutely no reason when you're nowhere near his food or anything like that,
Yeah, you're
it's a
just-
territorial
you
thing.
guys see this video? That's grizzly that walks past these hikers here.
Yeah, it just roams
that
by
wild?
and looks at the sign and then turns around and leaves.
yeah,
Oh, that's my brother Jim.
yeah.
A really good one if you get it.
Look at that! Look at the size of that thing.
That's a big bear, and that's
fact
still
that they're
that is
just
a
standing
juvenile
there is-
grizzly.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna say. those
well, you're
guys-
not supposed to run because it's instinct for them to chase.
No,
right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
you're supposed
but-
to stand there and stand your ground.
And that's
Look at
crazy.
that thing.
That's crazy to think that's a little over a juvenile grizzly.
yeah.
Grizzlies will tip the scales in around that 1,000 pounds
Comes
all
back
day.
to check it out, and
Yeah.
he sees that they're not scared, so he's not going to be like,
If you want a really good one to check out, type in Badlands black bear. And it's absolutely insane. The guy is using a ground blind, and the bear just shy of walks into it to look and figure out what's going on. And that is an example of how to behave when a bear decides, hey, I'm going to look and see
What's it
what you're
called?
doing.
Badlands,
Badlands, and then
black
type in
bear.
black bear. And it should be... Scroll down.
Mountain Dew, every dew chugging. How does that have to do anything with black bears?
Yeah, I don't know.
That is terrifying.
So Badlands is also the name of a black fella that chugs Mountain Dew.
Apparently.
It was sorry, there it is, right there.
Unexpected
Badlands
Wildlife.
Film Festival
That's
short
quite
film
the
winner.
that's quite the deer blind inside that
This one right here?
7-Eleven.
Yeah, that nope, down one. Badlands
very
Film
elaborate.
Festival, yeah. So it's a bit of a longer video. Fast forward, where is it? Probably just closer to the end, about 3/4 of the way through. There's a lot of
Oh,
talk.
he's using a
right,
longbow.
Is that it?
Advertisement. Get
Way
out
to
of
click
here.
the link.
YouTube.
Stupid Canadian Tire.
I'm used to using
Just
my
kidding,
left
Canadian
hand
Tire.
for the
Feel free to,
links because my
endorse
right
us.
hand's busy.
Yeah, we
usually.
are totally open to sponsorship deals with Canadian Tire. I love it. Just bought a mattress from there the other day.
So yeah, this should be it right here.
Inflatable, obviously.
Oh yeah, he's right there.
Nope, that's not it. It gets even worse.
That's
Let's
not that
wait.
big of a black bear.
Big enough to rip your face
That's
off.
pretty
yeah,
close.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
and he's a lot faster than you
He'd
might
eat my
think.
lunch and let me know how it tasted.
Where is it? A little further.
Oh,
Right here.
That's ballsy with a longbow.
That
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Click right there. The fact that this guy's shorts aren't full right now is beyond me. But this
They
is an
are,
example.
but he still managed
Yeah.
to just.
How
like,
does-
right.
That is an example.
How does he get his balls out of the forest with that bear?
I'm not sure. But that is a good example of, like, if you've got a bear coming into you, don't flail, don't freak. Yeah, try and get out of the way. Especially if you're hunting, you do have, obviously, a rifle, a bow,
Oh, and he
something.
did shoot him too.
He did
Yeah,
get him.
Well,
yeah.
he's got to finish him off.
He's going to get him here. But that bear was, like, he touched his nose with that arrow.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I mean. They may be cautious and curious. They're not afraid.
So what's your dream hunt?
My dream hunt, caribou in Alaska. 10 out of 10, I want to go to Alaska and hunt.
Have
Is
you
it the
ever?
100-mile herd or the 1,000-mile herd? I can't
1,000
remember.
Are you gonna
think
wear
it's
your
guys.
caribou headgear and stay at Camp Caribou?
I might. I
That's a
just might
terrible
have to.
joke. Sorry guys. Sorry everybody.
But no,
Oh,
that-
Fred Green,
on that
Canadian
note-
classic throwback.
That's the last broadcast from the.
I'm now moving to producer. I'm not allowed to talk in the
Just
microphone
Josh
anymore.
will now be replaced by
By
Nobody
this
see the
shovel.
power
YouTube
switch on
clip
this?
editor.
But no, that is by far my dream hunt. Head up to Alaska for caribou.
Have you ever gone for caribou before?
No, in
You
Saskatchewan
can't.
for the longest
No?
time in Saskatchewan, and now it's not even in the guides anymore. You had to be a resident of Zone 76
For 6 months.
Yeah, you have
Really?
to physically live there to hunt them, and now I don't even think they're actively hunting.
So-
And I don't know if you know where Zone 76 is, but there's no.
I'd have to check my zone map.
As a
Great.
yeah.
as an avid
So
hunter,
there's Saskatchewan, there's where we live, and then there's the very end of Saskatchewan before the territories.
as an avid hunter, what animal are you the most afraid of coming across?
I would have to say, and this is not so much fear as it is respect and understanding, wolves.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of the northern Saskatchewan forest, just outside of Wildcat Provincial Forest, and we found a nice little game trail, and we hiked down it. We got probably 2K down it, and we came across this real nice big black bear track, and I had a tag in my pocket. Beautiful pad, like big track, and it was fresh. It had been misting all day, and where he stepped, it was still dry in the center of the pad, like it hadn't finished re-wetting it. So we're like, okay, we're gonna track this bear, and we hike maybe a kilometer down this trail following his path, and then out of nowhere to our left, and it's thick bush on the other side of the trail, we start to hear snarling, and we can't tell if it's inches or feet away, but then it gets louder and more. So what I'm thinking is,
Caca.
well, that too, but what I'm thinking is the reason the black bear headed that way is he had smelt their kill, because like the fact that they didn't come out from beside us, because bear don't growl. What you see in the movies,
Yeah, they don't.
they don't do that. The most you're going to hear is them clacking their teeth together as they're trying to taste the air like a dog. Like they don't make a whole lot of noise. But so we start to hear this snarling beside us, and we're thinking the bear must have obviously pissed them off as they're eating, because that's the only reason I can think that they didn't step out. It was like a bear tooth snarl, like when you.
Mouth to banana.
He's
I
gotta
can
think of it.
promise I have never gone mouth to banana. The imagery is just terrifying.
Yeah, you can never look somebody in the
Why
eye
are you
while
cupping the
doing it.
balls when you eat your breakfast?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, then number 10, final. Kill, fuck, marry with the wrecked crew, me, Mike, and Josh. You gotta kill one, you gotta marry one, you gotta fuck one. Answer now.
Oh boy.
I still want to be able to look you guys in the eyes after
right.
this, so I don't know how I feel about this question.
That's why we left it to the end.
It wasn't.
know
This
it-
was completely Sunshine's idea. By
Actually,
the
this
way.
was my
Fuck you,
idea.
you guys twisted
Oh, was
my
it
idea.
actually
Hey,
your idea?
Sunshine, you're getting fucked.
All right, perfect. I'm the winner.
I'm probably you got a lot of lean meat on me, so I'm getting killed.
Yeah,
I know that
probably.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
I don't know. Chase isn't here. He's kind of avoiding everybody.
there you go. Yeah,
Fuck that
he's
guy.
technically part of the crew. You can answer with one of him.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be
Gonna-
all of us.
Gonna have to kill Chase. Fucking guy's
Okay,
not here.
yeah, kill that fucking sick bitch.
Well, I guess we're having a polyamorous.
And then
marriage
Mary, Josh,
I'm gonna have to go with the other hunter because then at least we're
Yeah.
always fed.
Yeah, I
got that.
I can cook.
and he
And that smoked cheese is something else.
Yeah.
Oh, you
and
can't
Mike's
deny that
already
smoked
told us
cheese
he
is
likes to be
fire.
the big spoon anyway.
Yeah.
There you go. It all works out. All right, boys. Well, that was a beautiful episode.
it was awesome.
Obviously, kind of a landmark moment. Our first guest
First
ever,
guest.
Nathan.
Yeah.
I think we had a lot of fun, boys.
I had a
Yeah,
blast.
it
And
was
we
awesome.
also have.
And y'all tried
So-
some black bear.
Make sure
Yeah.
to give.
That was
Honest-
delicious, by the way.
Yes,
Thank you.
very
For
good.
I'm gonna interrupt real quick. Honest opinion for everybody who leaves their black bear in the forest doesn't eat it. If you guys hunt bear, you can eat it.
Oh, I'm gonna
yeah.
eat it. That was
Awesome.
absolutely
Definitely.
wonderful.
That's from Butcher Boy.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did that. He did that on up for me.
So,
I'd eat that all day. No one would even know that's beer.
Give Nathan a follow on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah.
We are also on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah. While you're looking into
Spotify.
stuff, give us a follow as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Please.
look at my stuff.
Yeah.
Look at his business.
All right, boys. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Nathan, thank you for being
Thanks for
our first
having me. It
guest.
was an
And
absolute
everybody
blast.
that's been watching, we hope you enjoyed Getting Wrecked with us.
Yeah.